Hey y'all, Drew from OL Realty Co. here. So in my last video, we talked about step 6 in becoming a first-time home buyer, and that was house hunting. Next up, after we found the one, it's time to write an offer. So let's start with the basics. An offer is a written agreement that you make to a seller of a house that you're interested in buying. It outlines the terms of the sale, which include the purchase price and any other conditions that you want to include. When we're ready to write an offer, it's important to consider a few key factors. Probably first and foremost is you need to determine the maximum amount that you're willing to spend on a house. Now, that's not necessarily saying that we're going to write the offer for that highest amount, but you want to make sure that you're not overspending, or that this house might not become a burden to you, this mortgage might not become a burden to you down the road. A line I always use with my buyers when we're talking about purchase price is, what's the most you're willing to spend on this house, and not be mad about it if somebody beats you by like 500 bucks. Again, not to necessarily use that number, that highest number in our offer, but it gives us a good starting point to understand where our offer needs to be the most competitive. Next is looking at any additional expenses that come along with this house. Things like what closing costs are going to look like. Historically, what are property taxes like for this place? Homeowners insurance, or even homeowners association fees. It could be a simple couple $100 a year kind of HOA, or it might be something where it's a couple $100 a month. And obviously that plays a big factor in your budget. So once we have a good understanding of the budget and the expenses, we're really going to start writing the offer. Some of the key elements in the offer are obviously the purchase price. Closing date, standard on closing date is 30 days. Sometimes it can be shorter, sometimes it can be longer. It's all what works best for you and with the seller to make our offer really stand out. And then there's contingencies. Contingencies are conditions that have to be met before the sale can go through. So one example that's probably most familiar to people is an inspection contingency. So it's a part of the contract that we'll go through in depth more down the road. But those are the kind of things that play the biggest part in an offer. So when we're ready to submit the offer, normally once you write an offer and it's accepted, we have to have what's called earnest money. It's a deposit that you make, and this is in the contract as well, but a deposit that you make, just basically you're telling the sellers that, hey, I'm serious about this property, and it's kind of a good faith measure. A lot of times you see earnest money being about somewhere between 1% and 2% of the purchase price, but it's all kind of a case-by-case basis, and we go through that as we were writing the offer. So with the offer, this is one of the most important steps, or probably the most important step in this process, and I really want to make sure that you would understand everything that you need to know about this process and really have a firm grasp on anything before you sign. You're also going to hear me say that we don't write offers for fun. I don't write offers for fun. We write offers that we feel are the best, absolute best offer that we can write on this house. And I've heard it too many times, and you might have too, but people are like, oh my gosh, we've written 12 offers on houses and we haven't got anything. I'll tell you, I'll share some of my strategies with you when it comes to writing great contracts, because they really can benefit you as the buyer, and they can really make things stand out to the seller, and a lot of times win you those offers. I carry an average of a little under 2 offers per buyer to get people under contract. So like I said, we don't write offers for fun, we write offers to get you into a house. So as you can tell, this is such a crucial step, and it's probably my most favorite part, especially for first-time buyers. So stay tuned for step 8, and that's when we're going to start talking about negotiations. do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe.